It was February 15th, 2001, when the tight-knit community of Benton Harbor, Michigan, learned that even the safest-seeming places could harbor mysteries. A 12-year-old boy, full of life and promise, stepped out of his home and vanished without a trace. Steven Kraft Jr. was just like any other 12-year-old, known for his bright smile, his love of dogs, and his close ties to his family, especially his sister. No one in this quiet neighborhood could have imagined the nightmare that would follow. This case has haunted the community for over 2 decades. Steven's disappearance was unlike anything we'd seen. No leads, no witnesses. Just a 12-year-old boy who disappeared into the winter night. It was around 7 p.m. when Steven left his house on Holly Drive to play with the family dogs, just a block away from his home. The area was familiar and felt safe, a place where children roamed freely up and down the street. His mother, who was preparing dinner at the time, told him to be back in time to eat, but Steven never returned. When Steven's mother called us early the next morning to report him missing, we launched an immediate search. It was bitterly cold, and our top concern was finding him quickly before the elements became an even greater threat. Steven's footprints were found leading past an iced-over pond and ending near a nearby building, Harbor Haven Ministries. But beyond that, there was no trace. Days turned into weeks, and the brutal Michigan winter showed no mercy. It doesn't feel real. You just keep thinking he'll come back, that he's just out playing or hiding somewhere. But as the days went on, it became harder to cling to that hope. 3 days after Steven's disappearance, one of the family dogs returned home. The other was found 1.5 miles away, but neither carried any clues as to what had happened to Steven. We were out here day and night, calling his name, checking every inch of these woods. The lack of anything concrete, that was the hardest part. It was like he just disappeared into thin air. Shortly before his disappearance, Steven was suspended from school for 5 days, but he had no history of trouble. He was an average student who stood up for himself in a fight. Whatever had happened, no one could explain why this unassuming boy might have been a target. What makes Steven's case so difficult is the absence of a clear motive. With no signs of a struggle, no ransom, and no significant behavioral red flags, investigators were left with more questions than answers. 3 years later, there was a glimmer of hope when a boy matching Steven's description was spotted at Midway Airport in Chicago. But that lid, like so many others, turned cold when the boy was identified as someone else. The lack of closure in this case is devastating. Steven's family deserved answers, and now his sister continues to keep his memory alive while we keep working this case, one lead at a time. Though the house where Steven took his first steps is gone, the community's resolve to find him remains. After all these years, hope has not wavered. Steven Kraft Jr. vanished 22 years ago, but the search for answers goes on. Someone, somewhere, knows the truth, and until that truth is uncovered, the case will never truly be closed.